I've waited my whole life for this. I am going to bring TikTok back.
Yes.
Dead and alive. With his testicles in my hands. Now bring a car. I will go and I will tear his family up. I will do it to his wife and give her blood infection, sir. I will do whatever it takes to make you happy. I'm going to bring back his testicles in your car, sir. Your car and his boss, dead or alive.
What's up? 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 Anyway, I'm Podrey, and I haven't posted a video with me post like putting my thoughts out there on something. And I was watching this, and I seen her walking out with all that hair. And I was like, yo, there was a point in time when track stars wanted to have aerodynamics. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want, anything to get in the way of their run. But it's like, man, times have changed. They've changed a lot. Now they got fingernails, like long ass fingernails, long ass hair, eyelashes. And it's like, for real, for real? I wanted to point that out. And I also wanted to point out, like, I was watching a podcast called We Playing Spades. And you got Desi Banks and you got Waka Flocka. This is a Nick Cannon production. I'm watching season 1. And there was these 2 artists. Well, 3 artists. First, it was a duo, females, called Flyana Boss. And I listened to their interview, and I liked what they were saying, so I checked out their music. And I liked the beats, but as soon as I heard the N word or the B word, I was, thrown off, and I pretty much was like, man, fuck that. They also had an interview with, there was also another interview with La Russell, and he's a artist, musician from out of Vallejo, California, the Bay Area. And I also liked where his head was, what he was talking about on the interview. And so I wanted to see what's going on with his music. Now, I'm sometimes checking for the N word and B word so much that I don't get the message that an artist is putting out there for the title of the song or for the topic of the song. And so yeah, man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know where these generations that we have here lately, I don't know what they're doing. All I know is somebody has to speak up. Somebody has to try to point a direction for people to, want to go. But at the same time, they gotta live right, they gotta talk right. You know what I'm saying? If they're gonna be an example, they gotta be able to answer every question that is shot at them. You know what I'm saying? In a politically correct manner. Well, when you say real, keeping it real, when you say politically correct, things like that, it's kind of like, yo, you gotta take somebody who's genuinely speaking, you know what I'm saying, who's not trying to talk over your head with fancy words, college words or whatever, somebody who can talk with people at any level and be understood. We need motivators, we need dreamers, We need to help people unthink the bullshit that we've been taught, or unthink the bullshit that we taught ourselves. Because we got a whole nother battlefront to get ready for. And we're gonna get hit from so many different sides that it's scary. But you got a lot of people who are so happy with the conveniences and comforts that they have. It's like going back to 2020 when the virus had wiped out so many people, and you had the issue of whether folks were going to wear masks or not. And you see all these people out in public events, and they're like, I don't believe this or believe that, so I'm not wearing a mask. And it's scary to know that people are really thinking that way and believing those thoughts. It's kind of like when you think about how things are within the melanated community. We gotta help each other, and we're too busy hurting each other. Look at the entertainment, whether it's movies, music. It's like, who's gonna put something out there that doesn't poison our brain? We need original shit from people who are willing to do something that may not get a lot of money. So, I don't have a big channel, but when I post these videos, I'm posting, my thoughts. So that way, somebody else who might be thinking the same shit that I'm thinking might come across a video of mine, and they'll question everything that I'm talking about. They'll form their own opinion, and they'll talk to other people about it. That's the power of growth. It's like, you do what you gotta do, you live right, you think on a decent level, and you treat others in a decent way, and you get out there, get your ass back home, and stay out the way. It's kind of like when you're out there driving, you can be driving the best that you can, but there's 10, 15 other people out there who are driving crazy. You never know if somebody's rushing home to help a loved one and they're just speeding. You never know if someone is test driving a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? And you just happen to be at that moment, at that place at the wrong time, or the wrong place at the right time, whatever. So when you look at the news and you see all these people having all these accidents, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be like, man, thankfully you had your ass at home. It's crazy out there because you never know when something's gonna happen and you're right in the middle of it and you didn't plan on it. It's just the universe, I guess, trying to get things balanced out in some weird way. We didn't ask to be born, but damn it, we're here. And the universe and nature is doing what it do as far as keeping a balance of things. We talk about global warming, and we talk about how we as people need to be taking care of our planet, but yet not enough of us is doing it, so the planet and the universe is balancing things out. You know what I mean? We exhale carbon dioxide. Trees do the same thing. But when it comes down to what's more important, greenery or our carbon footprint, and it's like, I think natural greenery would win that argument, or toss off, or will tip the scales in that direction. It's like we're more of viruses that need to be, put in check. And it's like we can't control ourselves from calling or stop calling each other. We can't stop calling each other black. It could be like calling each other melanated, or basically, when you speak in plural, just keep it simple. Like those people. Well, what people are you talking about? The minorities? Which minorities? Well, the Americans that, live in a certain tax bracket or whatever. But, it's like doing whatever you can do to avoid using the word black. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same way with other words that we choose to use that we shouldn't be using. Like the N word or the B word. To describe each other. You know what I'm saying? If you want to use the N word if you want to use the definition of what an N word is, yeah, it might take you a few words, but you can still use selected words instead of trying to keep it simple and using the N word. Same thing would be, a female dog in heat. Really? But yet you call yourself that. You call other women that, or guys. So, I don't know. Words are powerful. And I got a flaw when it comes down to words. I don't know how to use words in different ways. There's a lot of things I don't know, and I talk on it. That's why I ask people, question the shit that I'm talking about. Form your own opinion, do your own research. So, with this video here, I've hit the topic of, when you're watching sports, or when you just look at people in our generation, or in the generation behind you, and you're looking at how they come out the house, or how they represent each other. It's like beauty is really only skin deep. It's the inward appearance that counts the most, and the outward appearance is just a distraction of who we are on the inside. So it's like we might think we look good, but it's our responsibility to not leave room for other people to have an opinion, I guess. But it's such a job that it's just simple to be lazy. You know what I mean? Some people say it's easy to do the wrong things. It takes effort to really do the right things. They say just do it. And it's like, you gotta put thought into it. You gotta question yourself. And the whole time that you could be getting something done, you spend that time questioning yourself to make sure that it's absolutely right before you do it. A lot of people don't want to do that. But like I said, I got my flaws. But I'll run my mouth because I have my thoughts. And I don't have people to talk to. So this is kind of therapeutic for me. And I'm not pushing my thoughts on anybody. I wouldn't want nobody pushing their thoughts on me. So by me posting it, I give people an option of whether they want to watch it or not. But then I'm like, yo, why wouldn't you want to hear someone try to spread some growth? Why would you? Like look the other direction. I know when I'm seeing what's on the news and I see people with all these other different podcasts, some of them are trying to genuinely help other people. But I'm like, yo, what is your background? And what are you really trying to put out there? And what platform are you using? You know what I'm saying? Because you might not be the right person to put that message out there. And you gotta take that responsibility to tell other people, hey, you know, you don't know everything, and you might not be the right person, but here's an option. You know what I'm saying? Have a disclaimer for your channel or for your podcast. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, man. Hope you have a good day. Hope you have a good night. Hope you have a good morning. Peace. Look at these ladies. Man, my people are some beautiful people. We really are. Anyway, peace.
Give them prayer hands, say what's up America. Half of you should know me, right? Other half a replica.